Good morning. We are live now, and the actual session will start in another 15 minutes today. You can consider because today is the last day, and we'll spend some time for the kind of allowing participants to arrive the session, and we'll chit chat for some time. Then we'll start the actual session. So just go in the timeline, proceed after 15 minutes. The actual session starts then. Thank you. Yeah, Vikrant, good morning. Welcome to the session, the last morning live session. Hi Rakhi, good morning. Welcome to the session. Yeah, Vidyut, good morning. Welcome to the session. How is the climate at your respective places? Vidyut, I suppose you are from Assam, right? Vikrant is from Pune. Rakhi is from Delhi, right? So Vikrant, another reason why I don't hold this handle is to keep my palms warm, This is hot water in the mug. So it keeps me warm in this chilly water. It's too chilled it's outside. So yeah. Not really, Vikrant. I don't visit Pune, Mumbai usually. Earlier, during my corporate years, I had been visiting. But then again, you know, in those days, the visits were irrespective of the places. I used to visit most of the cities in India, but the place, irrespective of the places, the route was airport, hotel, conference or the institute, back to hotel, airport, back. So I don't know about the cities at all. So that way it used to be those days. Yeah, Delhi is nice and cold, right? Hi SP, good morning. SP is from Mumbai. So yeah, Mumbai, Pune, I suppose similar kind of climate over there. Meenu, good morning. So Meenu is also from north, so it's a chilling weather here, climate. Yeah. Nandini is not yet here. She's a lawyer. So I got a legal notice yesterday from YouTube. It's a subtle legal notice. When we were uploading previous recordings, we uploaded all the recordings, and today we'll be sharing the playlist link also. So 7th day morning session, we had that Grow 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 song. Do you remember that? Chuchu TV is a channel there for the kids. Actually, that song I watched first time with Mumtaz. So that was visible in that video, and they tracked it technically, and the Chuchu TV claimed the copyrights for that. So you'll be missing the morning one lecture of 7th as far as the recording is concerned. So yeah, so it's really amazing to see this technological advancement, you know. So I replied back to them, and that's nothing to do kind of option for the user, that it's unknowingly it's a 3 minutes video. So if it is more than 10 minutes, then something serious or something that sort of legalities are there as per IPR, intellectual property rights. But this is an amazing experience. When I saw that mail, I thought, what it is? Legal notice. Yeah. So we need to be very careful about the kind of serious legalities are there. So we need to be respectful also towards these to maintain our homeostasis and vitality. But all in all, in the educational exploration, you should always be explorative, and you should also parallelly honor these cases. If something is raised, and you should honor the owner. So honoring the owner is undeniable. Right, guys. So we'll proceed with 1.5 minutes of silence. So this silence to bring our focus onto the topic of the day, and the concluding silence is mental work, what had been discussed, that should be compartmentalized. So I use this word very often, compartmentalized. So if we can compartmentalize our mind, that's awesome, because you need to perform different kinds of activities in your life. So if you can inculcate this habit of compartmentalizing, so then something will be preserved there. Whenever it is needed, you can go into that compartment and just check the things there. So it's a useful, rational, visualized activity that you can perform. So the final concluding silence helps us to compartmentalize the concepts that had been discussed in the session. Hi Prasida, good morning. So we are just starting the silence. Good morning. So this is the final session, morning session of this particular course. Today is the 9th day, and as we were uploading the sessions to YouTube, we found a total number of 19 sessions have been already conducted. This is the 20th session, and evening will be the final session of the course, 21st session. So total 21 live sessions. And amazing live sessions, and I really thank you all for attending so enthusiastically in this particular course, and it's really pleasure. It's a really pleasurable journey. So yeah, so today actually it will be the most relaxing day for you all. There will not be any assignments in particular, but definitely few of the tasks you have to do today. And today this session is also very easy go session. Just you'll be coming across. Yesterday, actually, Minu was asking through chat, through personal chat, if I recommend some readings for this particular science called Nature Cure. So I apologize that I'm personally is not I'm not a reader at all. I don't read much. So but definitely I chew a lot. I eat less. So here in this particular presentation and the note of today, you will be getting some hint from where these things evolved, right? So including the nature cure science, but in particular the kind of initiative SciSolution has started, the influences of this initiative from the history. That is the topic of the day. History, the influencer, an acknowledgement from SciSolution. So see, if we practice dialectical science, then dialectical science does not give much importance to any individual, any scripture, or any statistics. But that doesn't mean that we'll not go and try to find out if something is there in an individual, in a scripture, and in a statistics. So it is not the blind acceptance of the individual, the scripture, and the statistics, but definitely the exploration should go on. The other day somebody was asking, is there any dialectics about reincarnation? As I don't know about the next life or the past life, I don't know actually whether the reincarnation is a reality or not. There are a lot of researches going on, but to my understanding, you can be a reincarnation of Isaac Newton if you understand the laws of motion well, because the entities, the concepts that one individual understands and try to contribute to the world, if can be understood by any other individual, then that concept becomes his own or her own. So it is nothing but the level of understanding through which Newton perceived the laws of motion is attained by the individual. Then the individual, for that particular information, that particular understanding, is the reincarnation of Newton. So on that note, I would like to bring your focus on the rationality aspect also. The rationality is not your rationality unless you understand it. So blind acceptance of rationality is a toll on our vitality. We need to remember that. So always contemplation, analyze, and understand the thing. So these are the three primary routes for achieving a kind of rationality in our life: contemplate, analyze, and then understand. Then you achieve that knowledge. So with that note, I'll start the history portion, but definitely the history portion should not be confused as the blind acceptance. So we need to evaluate the things every point to point. So the first acknowledgement goes to this person, Hippocrates. So he is actually around before Christ, around 400 BC, he proposed his theories and understanding about health. And I tell you, he is a person with utmost dialectics at that era. So there could be a contradiction of seeing this, after seeing this particular slide, that is it nature cure course or something else? Because Hippocrates is a person who is known as father of medicine, and nature cure is considered so-called against medicine, against remedies. So then why Hippocrates? Why the first slide is about Hippocrates? That could be a genuine question can be raised. So now, hi Tulika, good morning. We just have started the session. So this is the first individual that we are acknowledging in this process of understanding nature and life. So, this person actually helped the world understand that the health is nothing as cursed by some supernatural. Before him, the world used to consider that the bad health, the state of bad health, is a result of curse by God. So this person helped the mankind to differentiate the religion from health. That's the primary contribution of this person. So he gave us the equation which says health equals to lifestyle plus environment. He did not include at that point in time the genetic aspect, but definitely those two aspects are very much identifiable in terms of understanding nature and life, right? So this is very amazing to understand the concepts of health under the governance of Hippocrates principle. So he is a great person and entity to salute. Right. Now, next person. So these personalities are arranged as far as possible chronologically as per their year of birth. So this year of birth means we'll be able to understand the advancement of understanding also. As I said, that Hippocrates did not include the genetics, but definitely two major principles were included, and then the advancement happened through the years. So Vincent Priestley is a person who used to follow Hippocrates a lot, and this person actually is also known as father of water cure. Father of water cure, in particular cold water therapy. So he actually overcome his health problems by applying cold water in different experimentation stages. So he actually introduced to the world that the water could be a great reagent to bring cure, and finally he further advanced his studies and research and proposed the theory of nature cure. So he is also known as father of nature cure itself. So Fritznig, the contribution of Fritznig to this understanding of nature and life is undoubtedly a great contribution. So now you'll be getting the notes today at 7 on the Facebook. No, on the Facebook it is not uploaded as I remember, but you'll be getting, after the class is over, you'll be getting the Google Drive, and we will upload in the Facebook also. This is a single note, so it is not, unit is not created on the Facebook, I just remembered, but this is the note actually that you will be getting. So you see Hippocrates, so little bit of glimpse of these personalities, then you do your own research about these personalities. These are just the triggers to your interest, to have your interest. So Priestley was an Austrian physician, you know. So so water as curative agent was his proposal. Yeah, then the person named Louis Cunet. So Louis Cunet, actually the pronunciation is Louis Kuhn or Louis Kahn, that way it's pronounced. He is from 1835 to 1901. So he is known as father of detox. Father of detox, and he introduced the concept called toxemia. So he proposed this concept of toxemia as the unity of disease. So toxin accumulation is the single reason behind or single cause behind all the diseases is his proposal to start with. So this understanding of toxemia started with Louis Kuhn's proposal of toxemia. So his actually a famous book is there, The New Science of Healing, which actually triggered the understanding of Acharya Lakshmana Sharma, who is known as father of nature cure. His slide is coming little later, but because he is a little advanced in the year of birth, so this person actually started in that way the understanding of Lakshmana Sharma also. So we need to understand that, and that particular book had been translated into 23 languages all over. Then comes John Henry Tilden. John Henry Tilden is born in 1851, and he is an American doctor, actually switched himself to nature cure fraternity. So, and he wrote a book, Toxemia Explained. So he furthered the understanding of toxemia in his research, and I can quote him that in the process of tissue building, metabolism is cell building, and metabolism is cell building anabolism, and cell destruction catabolism. The broken down tissue is toxic, and in health, when nerve energy is normal, it is eliminated from blood as fast as it is evolved. When nerve energy is dissipated from any cause, physical or mental or bad habits, the body becomes innervated. When innervated, elimination is checked, causing a retention of toxin in the blood or toxemia. He continues, this accumulation of toxin, when once established, will continue until nerve energy is restored by removing the causes. So-called disease is nature's effort at eliminating the toxin from the blood. All so-called diseases are crisis of toxemia. So loud and clear in his explanation, as you see. So with that, we'll proceed to Arnold Ehret. Arnold Ehret, the fasting person. So his book, famous book is Rational Fasting. 1866 to 1922 his lifespan, and he intensively researched on fasting aspect. And if we go a little detail about him, then we'll find that he is a German health educator, and authored several books on diet, detoxification, fruitarianism, fasting, food combining. So food combination has been explained by Ehret a lot, and then he also talked about the longevity, naturopathy, physical culture, and vitalism, and fasting in particular. So his book, I have shared the link also of his book. If this link is available, then you can download that book as well, because these links are little unstable. So on that note, actually I would like to also tell that study materials online about nature cure and this natural hygiene is not too much, because of the simple reason, because these are not of the commercial interest, and the online media is controlled through the commerce largely. So that's why these materials you will not find a lot, but definitely there are materials. So at the end of this note, I have provided few links which may work, may not work, but most of them are working as of now, right? So if you get access to some PDF, some ebooks, just download it and keep it in your record, right? Now next, it's kind of shock for the Nature Cure fraternity, since I have included this person, because he was not a formal practitioner of Nature Cure, but to our understanding about nature and life, he has contributed a lot. He has contributed a lot in understanding the spirituality and the substantiality, in particular through his special theory of relativity. So this theory of relativity is named as special theory of relativity, E equals to mc square, where he connects the formless with form through his amazing understanding of the speed. So from there, psi solution extracted the idea of speed connecting with the density and the heat. So this is an amazing contribution by this person to understand nature and health altogether and life holistically. So yeah, so his portion you'll find there. Actually, less speaking about this person would be better, because if I go on speaking about this person a lot, then that will expose my lack of knowledge about him. He is a vast entity in this mankind civilization. Right, so the next person is, so if you see the year of birth of Einstein, and Einstein was 1879, Acharya L.K. Sharma or Lakshmana Sharma, as we know him, the same, 1879. So though 1955 Einstein died, but 1965 actually Acharya Sharma died. So so that's the reason of keeping Einstein ahead of Acharya Sharma, seeing the year of birth, year of death, you know. So Acharya Sharma continued his research and practice 10 years also after Einstein's death. So though I don't know about Acharya Sharma's whether he researched on Einstein's theories and all, but definitely, since this order is kept thinking keeping the year of birth and the death in mind, so he kept Einstein before Acharya Sharma. Now, Acharya Sharma is known as father of nature cure in India, and he actually read this book of healing, that Louis Kuhn's book named this thing, The New Science of Healing, and with which he actually found the newer health in himself, and then he switched his profession. He was otherwise a solicitor, so then he switched his profession and he started his practice of naturopath. It used to be called as naturopath. Then he proposed, this conception is very clear from Sharma's writing, that the naturopathy is a different school. It is the nature cure. It has to be called as nature cure because pathy is disease focused initiative, whereas nature cure is not. So pathy means disease. So he actually used to publish a magazine called the Life Natural, and it was earlier named as Indian Naturopath. With his understanding of naturopathy, he changed the name. So he paid particular attention to the hydrotherapy. Hydrotherapy, as it is practiced right now, has been contributed by Acharya Sharma a lot. So acknowledging this finest natural hygienist of the world, I must say, with responsibility, is very much required to understand nature and life. And his son Acharya Ganesh Sharma continued his legacy, and right now Dr. Arun Sharma, he stays in USA but comes once in a year most of the time in India to conduct camps. So he is also continuing the legacy of Acharya Sharma. Next is the person named as Herbert Magoffin Shelton. So this person, we actually in the dialectic materialism, he is credited of giving the foundation of structure governs function. So this concept of structure governs function is contributed by Shelton, and this clears a lot of things, you know. So he explains that everything is structured to perform some function, and if we understand the structure and the function, then we can do a lot of things dialectically. So his quote is, famous quote is, a surgeon can cut out everything except cause. So he was against the surgery absolutely, because he thinks, he used to propose also that the structure governs all of things, then structure should not be modified with the intervention. So that was the kind of understanding of structure governs function by Shelton, Herbert McAuliffe Shelton. So we need to acknowledge this person in this journey of understanding nature and life. And who you skipped to mention, in this journey of amazing life, Professor Edmond Brodo Zickley. This person actually flipped complete understanding about food. His theory of cosmotherapy was phenomenally influencing the understanding of diet as a whole. So beautifully he explained about the cosmotherapy in his throughout studies. So 1905 to 1979 was his lifespan, and his primary contribution in this understanding of nature and life is called quantified naturopathy. So he is quantified. He was actually a Hungarian psychologist by profession, and he quantified this particular understanding of nature and life in his theory of cosmotherapy, in his organo-vegetative concept. So the kind of ratio that we propose, the 50, 35, 10, 5. So juicy fruits, semi-juicy vegetables, and then semi-concentration, and then concentrated, semi-concentrated and concentrated food in terms of nuts, and the semi-concentrated in terms of legumes, grains, potatoes. So these theories are taken up from the theory of cosmotherapy from Zickley. So the respective ratio is, I repeat, 50, 35, 10, 5 by Edmond Brodo Zickley. So he actually categorized food into 4 categories, So biogenic, bioactive, biostatic, and bioacidic. So biogenic is life-renewing food, he proposed, which is germinated cereal seeds, nuts, sprouted baby greens, which is definitely to be consumed in lesser quantity. Then the bioactive, so to keep you active, the bioactive life-sustaining food are organic, natural vegetables and fruits. And biostatic is life-slowing, which are cooked and stale foods. And bioacidic are life-destroying, which are processed food, artificially irradiated foods, and alcoholic drinks. So his this theory of cosmotherapy is amazing to understand the diet as a whole, the starting point of this reformed life called nature and life altogether. So, and also here on the aspect of habit management, as I already shared with you, that he was an Hungarian psychologist. So his contribution to understand the habit is also humongous. So he proposed the cellular theory, which explains that why we are attached to the old habits even after understanding it cognitively, consciously. So that clears a lot of guilt from within, So you understand that the fried food is not good, but you get an attraction towards that. So his understanding and research about the cellular memory explains why you feel that. And when you understand that, then you can work upon it without creating any guilt within. So that's the contribution that we receive from this person called Professor Zickley. Then comes the Australian naturopaths. Kenneth S. Jaffrey. Okay, there is a question from Rakhi. Was nature cure practiced in India before Laxman Sharmaji? I don't have any idea whether any formal research or practice was there before Acharya Sharma. So So if you guys can contribute on that, then it will be great, and we'll be adding that in the next batch of level 2 perhaps. So yeah, I don't know Raki about that. So Kenneth Jaffrey. Kenneth Jaffrey actually is known as father of naturopath in Australia, and he used to call himself naturopath only. So definitely naturopath is distinguished from herbalism, because he is a dialectic scientist, we can call him, and his contribution was not less than 3333 lectures. So 3,333 lectures. Can you imagine the contribution he had made to make this awareness? So I'll just quote him this awesome lines. So he has actually distinguished medicine and nature cure so beautifully in this paragraph. There are two systems of healing on this earth. One is well known. It is called medicine. Medicine may be defined as the use of a remedy in an effort to restore health. The other system is called nature cure. Nature cure has no use of remedies. It simply employs the vis medicatrix naturae, the healing power of nature. This healing power is inherent in all living things. Every biological organism on earth, which of course includes man, has the qualities of self-reproduction, self-regulation and self-repair. So we often include this concept: the repair, reproduce and react. So these are few concepts proclaimed by Mr. Jaffrey, and more you can actually search on our Nature Cure group also, because Kevin was a direct student of Mr. Jaffrey, and he has all the copyrights also now with Katie and Victoria of his writings and recorded lectures. Right. Next is the person Acharya S. Swaminathan. So he is a disciple of Acharya Lakshman Sharma. His birth year is 1922, but his death was claimed as Samadhi somewhere in between 2004 to 2006. So he again was a phenomenal person to contribute towards this understanding of nature and life. And his contributions are not only the understanding of health, but also the philosophical understanding about the remuneration in the process of practicing health. The remuneration in the process of practicing health. So he used to quote this way: the diseases are diminution in the level of health. If the light goes out, you get darkness. So cure comes not by fighting diseases, but restoring health. So dialectic. And also about that remuneration part, he actually used to mention that knowledge should be given free. Only the manual labor has to be charged. So he used to offer his services, mainly his writings and his even recorded things, if those were there, for free. But he used to charge for the like kind of consultation that he used to offer, that too very minimally. So that was his understanding, that if some knowledge we acquired and we recorded that, that has to be given away. Whoever wishes, the self-learner, self-actuated learner should get it for free. And the person who is seeker, for him, if I extend some services, I can charge money, I can get some livelihood support. So that was a beautiful understanding of remuneration versus services by Acharya Swaminathan. So I'll conclude about him by saying that the nature cure is not an alternative system. The nature cure is not an alternative system of medicine, but it is a way of life. And that is what nature and life, right? Now comes Kevin. You know, in the process of your own journey of awareness, there are contributors who contributes actively and triggers the kind of things. So Kevin was that kind of person for me. So when he said about Kalyan, I see penny drops in you, and that gives me a lot of boost in my motivation and inspiration level. Also, I remember when I shared the design of my level 1 course, uh, which was in early 2017. He said, I still have that screenshot. He said that I'm envious to your design and presentation skill. So that when it is coming from this person, you don't have any other option other than starting this initiative very proactively and seriously. So that's what Kevin for me. Kevin lived from 1955 to 2017 December, and he is an Australian naturopath, as he claims himself. He also claims himself as a dialectic materialist person. So, and he separates clearly the spirituality from the health practice, the so-called spirituality, the pseudo-spirituality he used to call. So, definitely I find himself a super spiritual person. And yeah, Kevin, I thank you from bottom of my heart, and you know that. So I cannot talk much about Kevin. Kevin's book, Lifestyle of Health and Happiness, is very dialectic book to understand nature cure. So I recommend everybody to go for that book. That book is available in his website called Hint on Health. Hint on Health. Kevin Hinton. That has another allegorical meaning. Hint on Health. So hintonhealth.au. hintonhealth.au. You'll be able to purchase that book. That's a little expensive in terms of Indian rupees, but worth. Absolutely worth. Yeah, the last person in this presentation. But in the journey, it's unending. We couldn't mention a lot of people's name. Uh, so my sincere apology I extend to them. But definitely everybody contributed in this journey of evolution, and it is continuum. It is a continuum. We are going to modify our understanding and better our understanding to be mature and mature in future in this evolution or co-evolution, I must say. Albert Ellis. Albert Ellis was an American psychologist. So he was a cognitive behavioral therapist. Then he coined his conception called REBT, which has got great influence in our understanding of nature and life at Sai Solution. And we practice his concepts analytically, dialectically, as he proposes himself. So we make changes as per the requirement dialectically in his concepts. So in this period of course, we discussed about the ABCD model of REBT, and also TFA, or the Think, Feel, Act model of CBT. So, so these are inseparable aspects of this journey. So may not be Albert Ellis is known as a nature cure professional, but his attribution towards Sai Solution understanding about nature and life is undeniable. So thanks Alice for contributing towards this journey. So that's it from my side this morning about nature and life and connection to the history. So today it will not be very hectic day for you guys. So we will be continuing with few of the aspects, like taking your feedback, because see, feedback is one thing that is very important for both the parties, the learners and the educators both, because it gives for the educators it gives a lot of inspiration and the correction also. So in this process we have not bothered you by asking repeated feedbacks every day and every live sessions, but this particular cumulative feedback which will be shared with you, a form which will have components of feedback in terms of the days and the component of learning pedagogically. So you need to, actually these are mostly MCQ type of responses from bad to so-so to good to wow. So whatever way you felt and you realize, so just you have seen the power of silence in this process of course. So just before filling up the feedback, just go into the silence and go back to each components those are prescribed in the form and respond them dialectically, respond to them dialectically. And there are few questions which are subjective in nature, those also are to be filled up. So be very candid about criticizing anything that you have seen. So those are two questions, separate questions. The corrections should include the limitations that you have observed in this structure and in this initiative. And another is some inspirational talk which can be used as testimony if you permit us. So that permission is also sought from you. If you allow us to use your code, then we'll use in our business expansion, but otherwise we'll not do that. Maybe we may use anonymously kind of things, but will not name you with respect to your statement unless you allow us. That's very explicit, right? So that's one thing we'll be sharing after this class is over. Then we'll be also sharing the playlist of all the live lectures. So this particular Facebook group will be dissolved. So you will be removed from the course from the group, because that group is a reusable group for batch after batch. So you will not be having the access towards the contents, but you will be also provided with the contents Google Drive link. It's a cumulative link. Please do not share it with the people those who you feel that are not seekers. So please be sensible to share before sharing these links, because we cannot govern you or watch you, supervise you whether you are sharing or not. This is your question of integrity, whether you share or not, but definitely be sensible before sharing it. We don't share it to the people those who are not the participants of this course, but we do use some of the articles as our marketing articles, organic marketing articles in the social media. So that's one disclaimer I wanted to share with you. So you'll be getting the video list, you'll be getting the content list, content link. So both the things you'll be getting, and the feedback link also you'll be getting after this class is over, right? So those are few things you are going to get after the class. And definitely today's particular lecture, the note of the particular lecture also will be shared with you, right? Yeah, SP Kevin's death was actually is considered as heart attack, which actually normally all the deaths are considered such a way. So but the best point is, just before few hours of his death, he was gardening. That's the relishing point, you know, and that's what we need. We don't need a long life, but we need a quality life. So that's what he spent. And just 2 days before, we had a long chat, and I'll still remember his all sayings during that chat because it was so vivid and candid as usual. So yeah, yeah. So so right, guys. So I think we need to conclude this final morning session now with the silence, and post that we'll continue with our sharings of the links and sharing of our thoughts through the feedback forms, particularly from your side. So looking forward, and let's do the silence. Yeah, SP commented about Kevin's death. I would like to die like him. I would conclude this session with this note: who doesn't? Thank you.